Welcome to Electrify, the video show and podcast for electricians only, with your hosts Paul Abernathy and Jay the Basement King Grunberg. Sit back and enjoy the show. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Electrify. My name is Paul Abernathy, one of your hosts, all the way from Texas. And with me, as always, my co-host, the Basement King himself, Mr. Jay Grunberg, all the way from Colorado. Ooh. Jay, welcome. Welcome, Jay.
What's happening?
It's got the gun thing. Okay. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Again, thanks for joining us. As I said, my name is Paul Abernathy. If you're not familiar with who I am, I'm the guy that makes up all the crap online that's not true. But I do my best to try to make it true. So, hey, you know, I'm just a doer. I've never been an electrician. I don't remember. Maybe not. Ha. Told you. So, welcome to the show. Again, Jay being a contractor in the state of Colorado. And so tell us, how is everything in the wonderful state of Colorado? It's got to be getting cold right now.
You know, everything is pretty chilly. Today's a really brisk day. It is supposed to kind of possibly snow tonight, so just make sure for anybody out there, get up a little bit earlier and start your cars so you can, you know, get a nice warm seat, because I think that sun is going to start going away here.
Yeah, it's cool today, but you know what? I don't mind it as long as it's not below freezing. You know, I can deal with. That's the beautiful thing about Texas is you can be 35 degrees one day, and the next day it's 75 degrees. It just that big a swing. So I guess that's why it's important to get your expansion and contraction right on your raceways outside and know how to do the math, because you got to make sure you use those expansion fittings. Everything expands and contracts. Again, thermal expansion. Okay, all those type of things. Aaron's at it already early. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Most certainly do. And I will tell everybody.
Oh my goodness, yes.
He added already. I will tell everybody, all the goodies have gone out into the mail, so you should be getting them within the next week or so. Except for Jay, what do we have? 2 folks last week we didn't have. It was Lou and Walter. We don't have your address. You never sent us your actual address, physical address. So if it is you, Lou or Walter, make sure that you go to your email and type in the host, HOST or HOSTS at electricianlive.com. And that'll go to the Electrician Live Broadcast Network, and that'll come to us, me and Jay, and we will get you your goodies out. Again, do appreciate you. We'll say to everybody that I will say to everybody I can type it in right here, Jay, if you want me to.
Oh, you're good. I got it. You're good.
I will tell everybody that the bottle openers have not come in. So again, we're waiting on that, and it's a holidays. So, okay, you know, we have to wait on those, but hopefully we'll get those in soon. But everything else and some extra things I might have stuck in there came out to everybody. And Aaron, I took care of you. So there's a bunch of good little goodies in there. Oh my goodness! Of course, it's going to Jay. It's going to Jay. So make sure he doesn't open up your box. I'm just saying. Say, Jay, stay out the box, bro. Okay.
I'm definitely checking his, but you know what I'm gonna do, because it comes to my place. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna wrap it as a gift.
Oh, there you go. Well, he's on the show. He's on the show. He knows you're wrapping it. That's good. There you go.
There you go. No, that's fine. I'll just wrap it instead of just giving it to him. It'll be a present from you to him. Hey,
there you go.
Also Ronbo, if Ronbo's out there.
Oh yes,
send
Ron.
us your address as well, Ronbo.
Ron, I know that I have your address, but I got so much stuff going on here. It's just so much easier if you do me a favor, brother. Just drop me an email or text me. You got my text. Drop me your email and not email.
Schwartz, he's at it.
Your address.
Thank you, Schwartz.
Thank you, Schwartz. Yeah, I appreciate it. Had a great night last night, Jay, in the exam prep all the way till the end, when Paul infamously had a brain fart and forgot that branch circuits was part of 225. Boy, it was a long day, and I'm looking and flipping, and the answer's right there, and I look at it and say it multiple times, but I'm sitting there, and you know what? That can happen to you. It happened to me. It happened to you. It happens to everybody, and it's just the way of life. Okay, which is why a lot of people don't do Q&A live anymore on stage and things like that. I still do. But again, it's just we're getting older. We try to remember there's so much rattling around. It happens. But eventually it was like, okay. And then Jay bailed on us. Okay, so he was out. But
Michelle started answering his questions. Or Michael started asking questions. And we all know how Michael can get. And I love Michael to death. And Michael, if you're listening to you, man, I really do appreciate you. But I had to go spend time with the wife and kid, too. So
don't let him do that to you, Michael. Don't let him do that to you. Don't let him do that to you, Michael.
Nate, thank you for the donation of $20. When we do get to the wheel spinning tonight, guys, I told you guys it is December. So it's giveaways for everybody tonight. And Schwartz, I still have your hat. So, I'm sorry, but I will get that out. Tonight's giveaway, the big giveaway will be the hammer, the Husky 20-ounce hammer with the crowbar and a pair of large Milwaukee gloves. So these are coming to whoever wins spinning the wheel tonight, and go through there.
All right, good deal. Hopefully, Jay, somebody said your volume's down a little bit. I tried to adjust you a little bit, but Aaron, let me know
I can get it up there. Hold on. Let's see here. What about now? Try that now. Let me know if you can hear me a little bit better, guys.
All right, that's good. He says good. So again, thank you all for doing it. So let's do a kind of a rundown. We gotta give some welcomes real quick while we're here. Rombo is here out the gate. Threw it in there. So Rombo, thank you for joining us. Schwartzy is solid, buddy. He is always there. I guarantee you, at the company that you work at, I guarantee you are that guy that is always the go-to. I bet you I could guarantee it. He's like, I need something done. Go to Schwartzy. He can get it done. I guarantee you. We got Elwood in the house. Thank you, Elwood, for joining us. Michael Staley. Thank you, Michael. Los 3. Thank you for joining us as always. Bill's in the house. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for joining us. Aaron, as always. Bill. Always knew Aaron would be there. Yan and Nikki, it's in the house. Of course, there's the Basement King. Thank you. Nick Gilbert, thank you. Thank you again for the donations, everybody. Much appreciated. It allows us to get these items out and get you these other things in to give you. I always love to give things away. Eric in the house. Eric was up with us last night too. Thought he stumped me. Yeah, hey, it would take much these days to stump me. I don't know why my mind didn't think that y'all heard me even say it. Oh, it doesn't apply to branch circuits. It did. Oh, well. Senior moment. I'm not taking my Propecia or whatever it is. Maybe I'm not taking my ginkgo biloba anymore or something like that. It's always a possibility that Paul is just not as sharp as he used to be. It's, been doing this for 30 some years teaching code. I guess maybe I'm just slipping. I don't have music for that. Right. We need some more music. Slipping away. Hold on, where did I get slipping away? That's good enough. Carlos in the house. Thank you, Carlos, for joining us.
Carlos, what's up, brother?
Chris, local man in the house. Welcome, Chris.
My boy Chris.
Michael, there's Michael. Michael's in the house. And Franklin in the house. Man, a bunch of the regulars are in the house again. So everybody out there, again, thanks for joining us. We have a great topic tonight. Probably we'll be sharing more of an opinion. And we said we're going to start doing that more on Electrify. We're not going to be solely geared to just code, because I've got tons of shows for that. Other things. In fact, me and Jay, I think we talked about maybe this weekend. I'm not sure. Trying to tackle part 3 of the residential together, because that's like an 8-part. There's Oscars in the house. What happens is we have so many episodes of that residential to go through, and it gets better. Trust me, the anticipation will kill you. It literally gets better. The guy gets more, he's great. He's doing great so far. So if you watch that series, go back and check it out. But he does start making comments and all that we'll start to correct and everything a little bit, but it's all good. He's out there doing his thing. It's almost like the Basement King is starting to do his little videos. But what is this now? You got a new phone, did you? Let me see, Jay. Did you finally step up to something that maybe the guru has? Did you decide to invest in some technology? Look at this.
It's actually one step down from yours, but I'm pretty sure your guy doesn't dance like mine. I'm pretty sure you haven't gotten to that app yet, just because, again,
I'm probably not corny
you're
enough.
Probably not there yet, but
I'm not corny enough to put my own dancing man on my phone and look at myself all the time. But I'm just saying, Jay, that's what you want to do, bro. You look at yourself. You see him now, folks. He's just like, oh, look at that. I'm so beautiful. It's me. It's my little, it's my little emoji. It's Emoji J, the mini Basement King.
Emoji J.
It's Emoji J. I can see it now, bro.
That is so true too.
I know. I can say
agree with that.
But anyway, it's got a neat app on there that does allow you to do what's called director view, so that's cool. And it gives you a different perspective, and it really does make videos better. I liked your video today. If y'all aren't following him over on Instagram or TikTok, check him out. I believe it's Basement King 12 on all those platforms.
I'll put it in the chat.
Check those out. Help him grow a little bit over there. Share it. He really loves that social media thing, so I'm okay with it.
I was able to, and kind of like the guy on the video, and anybody else has done videos where there's education, code-wise, or education out in the field, or tool reviews, whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You tend to find yourself stumbling a little bit trying to catch words because you are on the spot. Even though it might not be live, you can
I don't think people appreciate
the process.
I don't think people appreciate the fact that people answer questions. It's much easier to answer things after the fact if you're recording, but to answer things live and be always put on the spot, that type of thing, obviously. But
it's hard, man.
But they're neat videos. That direct review is going to make it neat. So I'm excited about those that you're going to bring, and we're going to eventually try to get a bunch of that stuff over on the Electrician Live Broadcast Network for the Basement King channel. So we got to get that worked out.
Yeah, and there's a couple other people I know who are trying to do the process on that. Just make sure you guys are following the process and the way it needs to go. But back to that director's view, when I was doing that video, after I got done, I sat down at the house and, I'm going through it to post it. And I'm like, oh man, I forgot to write this on the wall, and I forgot to write this on the ground. And you kind of start catching yourself forgetting that,
you're off
you're not
your
completing
routine.
your job all the way. And not that I was rushing to get videos. I do a lot of my walks, but I was missing certain key points. So that's my point is when you do kind of educate, you kind of get to see errors that you have, the flaws that you have while you're doing it. And then if you can rewatch it and critique yourself, it kind of allows you to be a little more prepared for the next time. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, but the neat thing is that you're off a game because you're used to walking and laying out basements, and now you're trying to do it while you're videotaping, and so it changes your game. It always does change the game. Okay.
That basement I was at today was pretty cool. This couple, they have a few kids.
Mike calls it. He says he's got to get Tic Tac. That's what I think about it, Michael. It's like Tic Tac. I don't get the platform. 3 minutes and that's it. I can't do anything. Hell, y'all people know I have a hard enough time doing code in 5. Yeah, in order to do
like
3 minutes,
6.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I'm like, hey, I'm a code in 5. I'm gonna do code in 5, and it's 5 minutes and it's 48 seconds. I'm like, I have a hard enough time talking in 5 minutes and getting everything I want to get out. So much less, but 3 minutes on TikTok. So I just use it to tell you about upcoming shows, so that type of thing. Okay, so that type of thing. Michael. Oh, God, Michael. Oh, wow. All right. So anyway, I will tell you, we're not going to talk 625. We're not going to talk electric vehicles tonight. It was electric vehicles and the infrastructure and our thoughts on that and how it, because of everything that's going on with GE and GM, not GE, GM and Ford coming out with the Lightning, and everybody making these statements that within the next 5 to 10 years that they're going to go 100% electric. And there's so many
Oh
problems with.
wow.
Oh my goodness!
Good. You wound up Aaron tonight, huh? Wow. Didn't
Wow,
see that one coming.
I did not see that one coming. Godric, thank you very much again.
Yeah, the
Appreciate
gamer.
it.
I
Um,
don't kind of new
I
to the stream,
yeah,
but thank you.
I again very much appreciate it. Definitely. So, and we will definitely spin the wheel. So hang around with us to the end where we do some spinning and do some giveaways. Get that.
Hey,
Yeah.
so Elwood has a good question. This is kind of great to
Sure.
start it off, and
Yeah.
maybe
Go
this
ahead.
is into what you have to say as well on the EVs. He says, "I need a new vehicle. Should I go electric?"
Okay.
What would you say to him?
Okay. So first of all, let me give you a little bit of a background understanding of my. Now, I worked for NEMA. Most people know that I previously, in a previous life, worked for NEMA. I will notice. You notice that name Godric Giovanni Gamer is so long in the donation. Is so long it doesn't even fit in the box. I am sorry, Godric. We're gonna have to figure out how to do that. If you look at the one at the top there, it doesn't even fit all up in there. But that's yeah, it's a template and it's just not big enough. But anyway, so everybody knows back in a former life, I worked with the National Electrical Manufacturers Association. And it was their Southern Field representative. So 13 states, I guess, in the South, I was the code guy for NEMA and the manufacturers in that area. So basically, I worked at the will of the manufacturers. That's really what NEMA is. You know, you really work at the will. They're the ones that pay the first time. They actually pay money into NEMA for representation. So I was the one charged with going around and talking about electric vehicles and things like that and everything. So I'm going to give you my opinion on it to answer that question. So to answer what you say there, Jay, to answer his question, number one.
So this means Paul's going to give us about a 30-minute discussion on his opinion to come up with the final answer that is going to be yes or no. But just hold tight because we know where this is going. So go ahead, man. I got to get another. Let me go get another beer first. Go ahead, Paul. I'm listening.
You know what? I'm glad he's gone anyway. So look, electric vehicles, great for local. The problem you got to worry about is what is your need? Personally, I would not go all electric vehicle. Personally, I would go in the class of a PEV, which is a plug-in hybrid vehicle, which is basically half gas. It's a hybrid, half gas, half electric. Probably more electric than it is the gas, but there's a certain amount of gas. That way, you always have that buffer. When we first started seeing the vehicles like the Volts, right? Chevy Volt. Of course, they came out with the Prius, which is all the those type of vehicles, electric, plug-in. But then we had the Volt come out. It was more of a pure hybrid, and that's what I would go with. So I think that, and we'll talk about this as you go further down in my evaluation of where the EV is going, and we're going to get to that tonight. That's why it's going to be a lot to cover. I'm going to tell you, see, I gave my opinion while you were walking around, Jay. I believe you should go, if you're going to go with anything, it's a hybrid. I don't believe in an all-electric vehicle. Now, with that said, if you live in a city and you only work in the city and you're not going to be traveling across the country, okay? If you're not going to be traveling across the country, then you're just going to be at local in a city, then there's nothing wrong with the electric vehicle. Because you have 3 different stages of charging we'll talk about tonight: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1, you charge it overnight, but if you're doing locally, you're probably going to get a certain number of miles, a couple hundred miles off a charge. You're probably not going to have to charge it but a couple times a week. And you charge it right, 120 volts, trickle charge right in your garage, and you're good to go. And that would be fine. The problem I have with the vehicles is when you want to go any distance. And that's what we'll talk about, the infrastructure and how it sounds really good in the media news to put out there and have GM and all these other companies talk about they're going to go 100% electric. We're going to talk about the impact that would have. And of course, we'll talk about the opportunity for electricians because there's a big opportunity here. But to make money, and that's what it's about, right? We want to make money. But, if you want to buy into the EV, the electric vehicle thought, then we're going to have to worry about our infrastructure to be able to handle that. And so I'm going to give you some things to think about. But again, if you're going to go from Texas to Virginia, the infrastructure is not there to be able to. Who wants to go and sit somewhere? Now that's 1,200-mile trip. Okay, I know. I've driven it. I got family in Virginia, so you would have to go a couple hundred miles. If you're in a Type 1 charger, regular chargers, you're going to have to sit for 16, depending on the manufacturer, depending on the model, depending on charge, 16 to 18 hours to charge it up, right? We're all used to going into Buc-ee's or going into something, pull over the gas station, fill our tank up, and get on the road, get going, right?
Right, stretch a little bit, grab some goodies, and you're out. You're
Get the dogs with you, walk them around the potty area, get in and bolt, right? Not going to be what you're going to do on those type of vehicles. The general affordable class of EV vehicles aren't going to have that option, right? So then you have the level 2 charging, which can be anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to 10 hours, again, depending on the model. They're usually 240 volt. They're much more in the range of something like your range. See how that worked? Much more in the range of like your range or dryer in your house, 240. Its consumption can be as much as 80 amps. Some cases, depending on the manufacturer. And you'll get it charged in that length of time, like a Tesla charger, and you're going to be able to find. And then, of course, they have a level 3 charger, which is about 480 volts. That's a DC charger. That can charge something as little as 30 minutes. But that's what you would need, okay? That you would need on the side of the road in order to be able to have the same comfort in an electric vehicle, is going a couple hundred miles, pulling in. I don't mind sitting 30 minutes. Right? Plugging it in, going into Buc-ee's or going to something and grab something to, getting a sandwich or something like that, and coming back out, it's charged, and get down the road. Okay? Most of those aren't going to charge to 100% anyway. They're going to charge to about 80% for battery preservation. So, 3 different levels, and we'll talk about the infrastructure. So again, as you say, I'm rambling on. I think I told you my choice is I would not go with electric vehicle. I would go with a hybrid if I was going. If you're in the market for one right now, it's electric enough to make you feel green and happy, but you still have the solution for the fossil fuel to help you be more reliable. I think that is the problem right now with the country, is everybody's either this or that, right? We're either all electric or we got to get rid of fossil fuels. Look, folks, we're not getting rid of fossil fuel. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the left says. I don't care what the right says. You are not getting rid of fossil fuel.
No.
You're just going to make it more expensive. Now, if you want to curb our demand on it, then you should be pushing hybrid. That's what the government, everybody should be pushing hybrid technology. Okay? That's what they should be pushing. Okay? Now, Franklin made a comment about EV solar charging. Yes, but solar efficiency from a charge from solar arrays to this, it takes so much, it takes so long. Okay?
Yeah, like you said, it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's not in the time frame that they say we're going to be at. Because you've got these CEOs coming out now, right? And they're saying within 5 years, I think you can go Google it. General Motors is like, and Ford is like, in 5 years, we're going to be all electric. It's not going to happen. And of course, we all know we're smarter. All of us out there, that, especially those that are on this show, we're smarter than that. We know that the moment that the new administration comes in, all of those promises will change. Everything will change. Okay? I love electric. I'm an electric guy. I get it. But the problem with it is, people have asked me questions before, Jay. They've gone, wait a minute. So why don't we if in the wheels you could put generators and they're constantly rolling. So if it's powering by the battery, the generators are rolling. So it's charging a second battery so that it can switch over. And then once that battery is depleted, it switches to the other one. And then the other one starts charging while the wheels are running. That's because an old electrical theory is that you have wind resistance. You have so many things that's going to make that inefficient that sounds like a wonderful thing. But it doesn't equate to the same efficiency in charging at the rapid rate. And so you're going to have a depletion time, right? Yeah. There's going to be a depletion, okay? So it's not as easy as that. People say, well, let's put solar on them. you're not going to be able to drive down the road and just enough solar is going to keep the vehicle charged. Okay. We're not talking about driving a little RC vehicle here. We're talking about a vehicle that's got wind resistance, got drag. It's going to be consumption as it tries to accelerate. Scientifically, mathematically, it doesn't work out that way. Right. So to me, the hybrid vehicles are the way of the future. It can immediately cut our consumption on fossil fuels if we start having initiatives from the government to help people get hybrid. And of course, they're going to have to make these hybrids look cool because there ain't many people out there going to be popping around in a funky looking hybrid. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying. And what I think too is like these guys are throwing out dates, 2030, 2040, 2050. Obviously, this is where they think it's going to be at that time. And as we get closer to that time, they're going to push out further dates. And the dates obviously are going to keep being pushed forward. But I just, when I think of that, kind of like what you were saying, okay, let's say you're traveling and you know that your vehicle can only go so far for so many distance, so long before it needs another charge. I'm thinking, okay, every gas station now is going to have, 10 to 20 chargers, every hotel, every restaurant.
So
when you're sitting down eating your meal.
So let's talk about that, Jay.
Yeah.
So O says he heard by 2030, gas vehicles will no longer be available. Brother. Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. So, guys, I'm gonna bring you up to something. This again, I want you to know I am all for electric vehicles. I support NEMA, the other companies. Look, I think it's great. They have their place. I am most certainly not going to hook my travel trailer up to the new F-150 Lightning and head out into the bush. Trust me. I'm not doing it. Okay. I know how fast this thing depletes.
Yeah.
When you use it for a little bit. This is a lithium battery. Okay. Lithium ion battery. Those trucks use lithium ion batteries. Unless the battery technology happens differently. Boy, can you imagine? You can't tell me nobody out there has had a situation where all of a sudden they had a whole charge and next thing you know, it's gone. I'm sure you've heard of them blowing up, burning up. There was an initiative out in California for all of the buses to be electric. For you folks out in California, what happened to that? You know what happened to that? The batteries started burning up. So they stopped it. No more electric buses or the initiative. There's still things, but let's talk about this 2030 gas thing. Okay. So first of all, you have the elephant in the room. Everybody has fossil fuel vehicles. And unless the government is going to, that is a sweet looking ride there.
Yeah,
I did look at that, Schwartzy.
I'm thinking about getting that one.
Jeep. I like the, I'm not going to lie. I used to own a Jeep and I am so missing a Jeep. When I saw their Jeep, I think it was a Jeep, can't remember what it was, but it was the Jeep. And I love the truck, but, it was the Jeep and it was the hybrid. I was like, oh God, if that thing would pull a travel trailer, I'd be in. But it just doesn't have the butt to pull. Are you
talking about the truck like the Gladiator one?
Yeah, no, I like the Gladiator too, but this was a regular Jeep, but it was their hybrid one that they were coming out with, and I was like, God, it's so nice. I love Jeeps, and when I got rid of my Jeep to get an F-150, big mistake. But anyway, it wouldn't pull my travel trailer, so it is what it is. Of course, now it's down at the lake, so it really wouldn't matter. But anyway, don't get me sidetracked. I got so much to talk about this topic. I'm mouthy tonight. Okay, so I don't even know where I was at. So the infrastructure. Let's talk about this, Jay. So in 2023, so even in 5 years, which some of these manufacturers say they're going to stop making fossil fuel vehicles. Okay, Jay. If any of you ever, some of you can relate. If you're out on the road and you're traveling across the country and you're on a main thoroughway, main interstate, and you go into a gas station like a Buc-ee's, like a Pilot or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the gas pumps are loaded. They're packed.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. You put a tank in the ground, you put gas in it, you have feeder pipes, the lines off to the pumps, and you can have multiple pumps. When you think about electric vehicles and somebody switching to that 100% or trying to get rid of fossil fuel things, those things like that, I'll remind you that my dad used to tell me, and he was big in the car business years ago, that we had a carburetor that could get us nearly 100 miles to the gallon, but the manufacturers would never let it be produced because it's not in their best interest. It's not in big gas and big oil's best interest to have a really efficient vehicle, even if it's fossil fuel. Okay. It's all about the Benjamins, right? So if we think that we're going to go and have all these electric vehicles and everything, then you know what? The problem that we're going to have is when you pull into that Buc-ee's, I can guarantee you their electrical system is not going to be set up to have the number of charging stations that are necessary. And they're not going to be level 1. That's your home. That's not, nobody wants to sit at Buc-ee's or Pilot for 18 hours or whatever it is. They're probably not going to have a level 2 because that still takes too long. It still could take you, depending on the system, the car, the whatever, it can take you 6, 7, 8 hours or more. They would have to have level 3 chargers. Those are 480 volt DC. There is a conversion from AC to DC, obviously, but they're usually looking at an amp draw that is extremely high. And we're looking at as much as 300 amps of capacity. Some of them are different. Some are much more efficient. But we have a higher level to get to that level of DC. Now, do me a favor, folks. The city that you're in, go online and tap and put in your search thing and go electric charging stations near me, right? And see how many charging stations that are actually in your area. Some more than others. Now, I'm in McKinney, Texas, and we have about 10 here. We're 200,000 people in this city. There's 10 available to the public that are out there. We don't have the infrastructure, right? Aaron, thank you again, sir. Thank you again. May the Schwartz be with you.
May the Schwartz be with
Schwartz.
you. Wow.
So
Aaron's saying, hey, let's just have something beam us up. Screw the whole crap. Let's just beam up and roll out and
if we all just get
to where we need to go.
We all just get a flux capacitor or whatever it is, we're all fine. For vehicles, I'm one of those big people that we need to work on nuclear powered vehicles. Okay. Put that energy in there, contain it, and it only it's done. You only have to replace the rod after a certain number. I mean, I'm all about nuclear, right? But anyway, nuclear. But anyway, the infrastructure is just not there. So I'm going to use you an example. Just to give you. So everybody knows Texas is probably one of the most robust states when it comes to electric power. We're usually not prone to brownouts, not like California, not like on the East Coast. East Coast and West Coast and the Upper Crown, which goes across over Texas, they're all tied pretty much to the same infrastructure grid. Texas is not. Texas is separate. Okay, we always joke. They joke in Texas so they can secede from the rest of the country. Sometimes I wish they would, but we have 3 grid systems in Texas. They're interconnected. Okay. But everybody might remember back last year when we had that ice storm, we lost power and it drove people crazy. We had a storm where we're in Texas. The temperatures got low for us in freezing for a couple of days. People's pipes burst, right? Mm-hmm. And we lost power, and it was because the windmills weren't primed for cold weather. Okay. So a lot of our infrastructure input is windmill. And I don't have anything problem with windmill except for the fact that there's a recycling problem with windmills in itself, and that's for probably a whole nother show. But the point being is we have to do things even in Texas as large as our grids are in order to conserve energy. And they start sending out these notices to help us do that. Can you imagine if now we're pulling on that electrical grid that was obviously already taxed, that we're going to be pulling so much more capacity? Let's take Encore Wire. Encore Wire is one of probably the largest hiring company here in McKinney, Texas. Okay, so obviously McKinney treats Encore Wire very well, and so we have 6,000 employees or whatnot. And we don't have any charging stations. Okay. If we all were to go to charging, okay, then we don't have the infrastructure. Our service, our capacity is not designed to start adding all of these charging stations to be utilized, right? And of course, those are the situations where we treat charging stations and their ampacity when we're running running the conductors and everything. We treat it as a continuous load, 125%. We're sizing conductors, but at the end of the day, it's all about what the capacity is necessary, and the buildings don't have it. So we would have to add that to the building.
Yep.
So if the rationale is we just don't have the infrastructure to meet those lofty dreams that they want. I mean, these are like AOC dreams, the Green Deal. It's not happening. Yeah. As much as it sounds good for political points, it's not happening. And people say, well, it's got to start now for it to happen. I'm like, you don't get it. You really don't. Wind generation is not the answer. Only works when the wind's blowing. PV or solar is not the answer. Quite efficient in how it works. And even in low light, it's still charging, the nature of PV. But it's obviously iridescent. It's peak periods at certain times of the day. Okay. And it does contribute to the grid for our storage capacity, and we have a lot of that. But it alone can't solve the problem. So if you want to curb the use of fossil fuel, they should encourage the use of hybrid technology.
Right. Let's crawl before we get rolling.
Maximize our fossil fuel resources, which I remind you, we were fossil fuel independent at one point, not too long ago. So anyway, without getting political with it. But at the end of the day, there are baby steps that could be made rather than people making this statement. Now, that's your local. That's being able to do it local. Most people in their homes will not have the ability to have a level 3 charger. You're not. You can have a level 2. Maybe. If you can put a hot tub or something in your house, you probably can put a Tesla charger and you're not going to be a problem. You do the calc. But at the end of the day, that's fine for charging your vehicle for local. But anything, I mean, do we really think that the trucks that are running up and down that keep, the truckers that keep our infrastructure running, our economy running, do you think that all those vehicles are going to go to electric?
Right.
How's that going to work?
No, but
are you going to get? Let me ask you, Jay. You're going to fly down. You're going to fly down here to Texas. Are you going to get on an electric plane, or are you going to be getting on one that has jet fuel?
Something that has jet fuel.
Yeah, I know the intent, but my biggest thing is people like to travel. People like to move. They don't like to be hindered. Until they start changing the infrastructure along the roadways, at the rest stops, and then how many charging stations can you put in? Can your electrical grid, which, believe it or not, a lot of Texas is still above ground. It's not below ground. And of course, we're right in that tornado alley. It's still above ground. A lot of the stuff. It's just, an electrical engineer or a person that does utility design is freaking out saying, our infrastructure is not, you can't just produce endless amounts of electric power and get it out there. You can only suck so much through a straw. It's going to take a lot longer than that.
Look how many gas stations we have, every corner. So now you're going to say that every corner you're going to have a charging station for all these vehicles. I mean, if you're going to go everywhere, everybody's going to be fighting over this. I mean, again, I'm thinking big picture, full blown, everybody has these vehicles. Are you thinking about when they go out, when they go down, when there's repairs that need to be made? I mean, it's just everywhere where we have gas, you would have to have the electrical charging stations. People fighting over them. I mean, you just can't go to 0 to 1 million that fast.
Yeah, how do you tell?
Talking about, you have to take these steps.
How do you tell the business infrastructure this? Hey, Buc-ee's, you've got 80, 90 places. We're not doing gas anymore. Okay?
Yeah.
You need to convert to electric. And I can promise you that they don't have the capacity to do that.
Yep.
And I guarantee you that the possible grid or the transformer system or whatever doesn't have that. Now, I get it. We're talking overtime. I get it. But Carlos made a comment. He says you just have two cars, one electric and one for local and one for travel. It still doesn't get you past the fact that they want to get rid of fossil fuels. So if GM, Ford, all of them believe their forward vision statement, and then 5 years from now, they stop making fossil fuel vehicles for electric vehicles, unless you're going to keep your car from 2021 that you have now and garage it and just limit the miles for travel, I'm saying their whole focus is to go away from fossil fuel. That's what they want to do. And I'm here to say that sounds great on TV. The media eat that up. But the reality is, it ain't going to happen. And I'm not being Debbie Downer. It's just not going to happen.
TJ says California's grid can't handle the summer stress now. Yeah, because you have so many vehicles out there in the summer, right? And that's a high point. You know, I played Call of Duty with a guy, Chrome, who is a tech for the power company out there in California, and they get so much feedback or whatever that is back to their generators, their main server, and they're blowing them up, you know, because again, they're not taking in consideration the power that these charging stations have on the grid. And again, we're not even where they want to. I mean, we're not even close to where they say we're going to be in 2030. We're not even close. I mean, you look at every home. There's a
dude, yeah, 2030, Jay. Home. Jay, let's put this in perspective, folks. 2030 is what? 8 years away?
Yeah.
8 years away.
8 years. Yeah.
I'll remind you that we did go into the moon in the 60s and walked on it. We ain't walked on it again since. I'm just going to say, we don't do anything very efficient. It takes private industry to do things efficient, like Elon Musk and Bezos, whatever, the richest man in the world, you know, like that, could solve all of our world's problems himself rather than have us all worry about the donation process of life. With one swoop of a pen, he could probably end hunger in the country. But again, he's not under any obligation to do that. It's his money. He earned it. That's his. I'm a capitalist. But I'm just saying. People could solve issues, but they just don't really want to solve them. They're just political talking points. Now, Franklin makes a good point for electricians. Let's talk about electricians a bit, because that's what we are. We're electricians. It is a motivation for an upgrade, because you're probably going to need, I mean, without doing the math, need at least a 200 amp to be able to have a level 2 charger, right? Yep. So, you know, so there you go. But let's talk about building this infrastructure, because the interesting thing about the National Electrical Code is that it says, okay, if you install, say you're building a house and you have a garage. Now, garage already requires 210.11, already C4, I believe, already requires you to have, if you have a garage, you have to run a 20 amp, at least one 20 amp brand circuit there. Okay. You can have others, but you got to at least have that. And that's to serve the receptacles that are for the vehicle, each vehicle bay.
Correct.
Okay. So if you have electric vehicle and you know you have it, then you're required to run a brand circuit just for that electric vehicle. Okay. Yep. Now, if from an electrician standpoint, since you know this is where it's coming, do you automatically just add that branch circuit and run it to the garage for future EV if you don't even know? Because everything's going to EV. You're not even giving the customer a choice anymore. It's like, dude, it's not, you know, because that rule only requires if you're going to have an EV vehicle. But if you don't have an EV vehicle, then, you know, well, you might be able to do it, Michael, on yours, even with 150 amp service. You just have to do the load calc. You do the load calc, it may work. Yeah. We're saying that typically a 200, you should not have a problem unless you just gone whack job crazy on everything. You've got all kinds of other stuff. You should be okay. So that's all we're saying. You probably can get away with the 150, but you're going to have to do the math, do the calculation based on it. But I mean, just think about those things.
I think when you're going into a new home, and if you're a contractor like myself, you really do have to think about this stuff, because you don't want it to come back to haunt you, right? I mean, some jurisdictions here are requiring them now for new builds to have them. If you're in a certain jurisdiction like Denver, I talked to an inspector the other day, and he said now if there's any new garages, they require them to have an EV charger. Obviously, that's not a code requirement. That's a jurisdictional requirement.
It is for them to have the branch circuit for it. If they know there's going to be an EV vehicle there. I'm not sure I know that unless the developer has already stated that's included in the building of the house, that we know you're going to have it, because it's not required unless you have an EV vehicle.
Then you for sure. Well, I can tell you what, out of if you're doing 60 new builds in Denver, there's no way you're going to go to all of them and say, hey, are you going to have a charger? You're already going to, as a contractor, you're already installing and moving on to the next one.
Sure.
So just for all the contractors out there, I would almost bank on it and just say, hey man, this is kind of the way of the future. This is where we're at, and I'm gonna kind of include it. I'll give you the option, right? I mean, the worst thing you do is you give them an option and they deny it.
Sure.
And then you say, okay, well, I gave you this option at, let's say $1,000 for an EV charger. I don't know, 2-pole 50, boom, right there, ready to go.
Well, you put it in a junction box there for whatever they want to do, because there's different types where you would put the charging. There's different types plug-ins and then fastened in place, and of course 625 will cover all those things. So there's different levels that you could be at. Okay.
Yeah, and then I also think that then you come back as a contractor, you come back and say, okay, well, hey, if you deny this and you want us to put it in later, now it's going to be $1,500. Cover it, because it might be more.
Sure.
And again, you're giving them the option up front to pay that $1,000 for it, or you're saying, hey, you can go away with it. Now, again, this is if the jurisdiction doesn't require it. I don't know if Denver is requiring it, Seth. I'm sorry, it was just from an inspector. What was it? Oh my goodness, I'm having a Abernathy moment.
You can have. I have a lot of them lately. So
golly, Ricky with Denver.
Ricky
nice
Bobby?
Inspector, really cool guy. He was hounding me the other day about doing a load calc on a basement and all this stuff. But anywho, he told me, he said the garages now in Denver, they're requiring them to have EV charges. I never looked it up. I don't do too many new garages in Denver. But I will make sure I look it up before I do one. But yeah, so I would give them the option. I'd say, hey, listen, if we're going to run a 2-pole 50, because no one on their home wants the 125. They don't want to sit there and wait 3 days for their car to get the full charge normally. Now, again, I know the hybrid systems probably work a little different, but everybody that goes, they want to go. They want to go full max.
You talking about the length of time it takes to charge?
Yes. So
the cars that you get, like with the Volts and the Leaf, which is a purely electric, 100% electric, which I would never recommend unless you just see, it'd be all right for my wife, right? Because she just tools around. She would just tool around town. You get probably get a couple hundred miles. It's a shame. Somebody said earlier, it's a shame you just don't pop the battery out like a Milwaukee, and pop a new one in. You're good to go. You keep an extra one in the car and work like that. But yeah, what?
Oh, let me just pull over real quick around the side of the highway. Oh, I think I'm getting really low.
You know what? I said that.
Hey, babe, pop that battery in. You know how to do that. Go ahead and do it.
I read between the lines. He said that what I said was a stupid thing to say. That's what he said. I'm just saying, if it was like that, Jay, you know what I'm saying? Just like that.
I'm just saying, it'd be so ridiculous. Your wife's driving on the highway trying to get down, instead of pulling off to go to the gas, she got to pull over and change the battery out.
She said, baby, what's up? I guess, boom, baby, I tried to teach you how to change a tire. I know I can teach you how to pull the battery out and slip a new one in. Although the batteries are huge in these cars, and they cost a fortune. If you've ever had to replace one of those batteries, that's the big issue right now, is the batteries. You put this battery in there, it's in the center, everything's in the center, and then a couple years later, when something happens, you got to replace the battery. That's like replacing a freaking engine. I mean, It's like, come on.
And yes, Seth, I'm talking about Stuttering Ricky. And he's a good guy. No No disrespect to Ricky, I love him. He actually, one
trash.
thing I really like about Ricky is he'll have an intelligent conversation with you, and he's not just stuck in his ways. If you can prove a point to him, he's willing to waver one way or the other. But that was just his comment. He said that every garage here soon in Denver is going to require EV chargers. I would just say, as a contractor, and it's a new build, give them that option. Just let them know. Just say, it's more money in your pocket.
I was gonna say, what do you care?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're gonna charge for it,
say
right?
no. Say, hey, it's gonna cost you 1.5 times more when I have to come back and do it in drywall. Sorry, or run conduit on the EMT tubing on the side of the house, opposed to just nippling it through the back of the main service and running it through the floor joist. Again.
Yeah.
Change orders. You have to charge a little bit more, but this is, again, the way of the future. No one wants the single pull ones. They want those 2-pull 40s, 2-pull 50s. Or what you could do too, as a contractor, you could do a remote distribution or a subby, brah, right there in the garage. Hit everything in there, do like 100 amp subby, and hit an EV charger right there.
Yeah.
Right off of that guy.
I will tell you, Franklin, you can't get away from that. Because in the 2020 code, it's going to require GFCI protection. Okay, 625.54. So at the end of the day, of course, 210.8 requires a broader range now. It's no longer just 15 and 20 amp for that in the garage. So if the receptacle's in a garage and it's a receptacle, then that would get you. But also in 625, you got 625.54 that's required GFCI protection as well. So we don't really get around that anymore because, again, GFCIs are infiltrating everything, okay? But it's to save a life, so what can you do? The life you save may be your own. I'm just saying.
Right here. What do you think of that new logo right there? Well, it's our existing logo, but now we got it up on the screen. I like that. I like that logo right there.
The little alien, which is available in T-shirts. Okay, it is available at streamlabs.com/master the NEC. Just so you know.
All right, brother. What are we doing? Do you got more? Are we going to the wheel? Where are we going?
What's the time? Oh, wait a minute.
Or do you want to do the code turd?
Yeah, we got to do the code turd, but let me see what's the time here. I want to see if there's anything else I want to add real quick. Let me give you a quick, let me give a quick thing so people with the EV, so level charging. Okay, so because again, we like to give information. Level 1 EV charging. Fast facts. Now, these came from Neo Charge. It gives me time for him to get drunk. Okay. Fast facts. Residential typical is a level 1. It's 120 volts. Typically, the cord will come with the vehicle, or at least, it averagely, the charging rate is 4 miles per hour. So for every hour, you get 4 miles. That's a charge rate. The charge duration in a level 1 can be up to as much as 30 hours to charge it. Again, depending on the vehicle and how it does it. But this comes from Neo Charge. I'm not making this up. Okay. Go to neocharge.com and you will read this. In fact, the blog just came out the other day. Quite interesting. A lot of good information on it. So that's the typical one, right? I know that's this level 3 is God mode. Yeah, it is, because I tell you what, if it takes level 1 to charge something, think of level 1 as a trickle charge for your boat or your camper or whatever like that. But yeah, level 3, it is God mode. So level 2 is residential/commercial. It's 240 volts. Charge rate is 12 to 30 miles per hour. Not bad. Top it off kind of way you think about it. Every night, plug it in, top it off. Duration of charge is 8 to 12 hours. Now, the good thing about these is you're not going to charge it every night, because typically they're going to have 250, 300 miles of range. And if you're using it local, not a big deal. I can see where electric vehicles would be great for a electrical contractor's service trucks or for service vehicles.
I could see it for like Uber drivers.
Yeah, because you can get 300 or 400 miles in a day, but they might put on more miles than that in a day, Uber. I don't know. But anyway, so there you go. So that's 240 volts. You can charge that pretty quickly. Okay, not quick enough for me to charge it on the interstate or anywhere. And I'm certainly not going to, if you can't afford it at your house and you're going to go out somewhere, you're going to be out and about. That's the whole purpose of us getting out and about. I'm not going to pull to Walmart if they put these in there and they have very few level 2 chargers. I'm not going to sit there for 8 hours to 12 hours. There's not enough things in Walmart to keep me busy for 8 to 12 hours. Now, Bass Pro Shops, I don't know.
Yeah,
Keeps me busy.
Cabela's, maybe.
Cabela's, maybe. But Walmart, nah, not so much. And so that's level 2. The cost to that charger is between $300 to $700. They give an estimate. The level 1 they'll usually give to you.
Thank you, Franklin.
So then it takes us to God mode. Okay, Seth, God mode. This is a level 3 charger. This is called a DC fast charger. It basically uses 480 volts, and again, can vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. Very power consumptive. You're going to have to make sure the infrastructure has that in place. You can't just go to a business or commercial building and say, hey, buddy, we just want to... You can't go to Buc-ee's or Pilot Gas and say, hey, we're going to put 20 charging stations down here. We're going to make them the DC ones, and we're going to really get you... It's not going to be that easy, okay? Not. So we tell people what EV ready, and we have a podcast coming out very soon from Encore Wire with me and Kevin that y'all might be interested in, and it's going to be talking about being EV ready. It's like convincing your buildings to put in the conduits to the locations outside where they want future charging stations. Do that while you're constructing it right now. It's a lot cheaper to do it now than it is to do it later and chip up concrete and do all this kind of stuff. So put the bug in your ear. It's obviously going that way anyway. We're going EV. We're going more EV. It's not stopping. This train's not going to stop. It's like the 70s. Remember when PV was hot in the 70s and then it went away? Okay, it's just kind of disappeared a little bit. It's here. I think it's here to stay. It's being pushed. So convince your building designers to go EV ready. As an electrician, that's great for you. It lets you put in the raceways, size them properly, put them in, cap them off at the locations where you would expand to EV. Build your systems and think about the expanded capacity. And you're going to have engineers do this and design this out about the capacity, because you're going to have to build that into your calculation. Okay, because it is legitimate. You can have, at some point, you can have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 cars charging at any one time, and anywhere between 200 to 300 amps of draw at each one of these DC fast chargers. That's massive. And where do you think this power draw is coming from? Okay. All right. So anyway, so that's your DC. Interesting article here. Let's see here. They say in 2021 that there will be over 40,000 level 3 charging stations. That sounds like a lot. But just go down your highway. They're not going to be where they're most needed. The majority of these are probably going to go in commercial buildings for commercial applications. Okay. But anyway, I hope I'm wrong, that the infrastructure comes back. So anyway, so these are 480 volt plus. So it depends on the systems, whatever. There's a lot of manufacturers that make charging stations. They work on different levels. But typically a level 3, which is not your typical Tesla charger, by the way, it's 480 volts. Its charge rate is 3 to 5 miles per minute. That's pretty damn good, I will say. The charge duration is 30 minutes to get you to 80%. Now, people say, again, you heard me say it, why do we charge at 80% and not at 100% for most of these? Well, the EV batteries, like all other batteries, don't necessarily like to be charged to 100% all the time, okay? So manufacturers will usually build into this. This is what we used to teach with the EV Ready stuff for NEMA. They will build into a charge stopgap at about 80%. And that doesn't mean it will go higher on a static charge when you're just sitting it somewhere. But if you're doing a rapid charge, they tend to not want it to go more than 80%, which is still going to reduce your capacity. So again, maybe at some point they'll give you 100% every time. But as y'all know, with batteries, even though lithium ions don't have a memory, every battery, once you charge it over time, depletion, charging, depletion, charging, depletion. That's why people have reported vehicle batteries having to be replaced in 4 years, which is expensive to replace. So again, it's not a perfect science yet.
So do they want you, because again, like with tools and stuff like that, do they want you to get down to a certain percent before you charge it?
That I don't know. I would think that the car would be like your gas warning light. I would think on an electric vehicle, there's a certain, most batteries with the lithium ion, it doesn't matter if you drain them out. It's not the same with a nickel cadmium or something like that, where they drain them out and you could kill them, or a lead acid. If you run a lead acid dead and you leave it dead, it can destroy the cell, right? It's hard to recover. I'm sure you've all done that before. That's why with bass boats, for example, we go to the gel type, or we go to a little bit more advanced marine batteries instead of the lead acid, because of oops, I forgot to plug in the trickle charger or something like that. It's less destructive.
Right.
Less destructive. So let me give the summary and then we'll go on to the turds. Level 1, again, think of level 1 charging, folks out there, is a trickle charge. Charging provides 4 miles per hour and replenish the battery for reasonable commutes. If you're going to just get a leaf and you want to do day stuff around the city and come back, and you can plug in and let it charge overnight, it'll probably stay at a moderate charge. You never go all the way full. You never get all the way depleted, and it'll serve you fine. Just don't take the kids and jump in it and try to go cross country yet. All right, number 2, level 2 chargers can charge EVs at home or at public charging stations, and that's probably like a Tesla. That is a 240 volt charger. And again, it's going to be a quicker rate. And of course, the DC or fast charge, or level 3, as we like to say it, is the quickest way to charge. In about 30 minutes, you can snap charge that thing up into God mode, and that vehicle's ready to go. Probably most people won't need that. So even with the Teslas, it's a level 2. It's just local commute. The thing about that is that they will probably charge it and not have to charge it twice a week. Now, one other problem is there is no standardization really out there for the charging port. Tesla uses a different charging port than some of the other manufacturers might use. So there is no global standardization on this. They are standard for the ones like the level 1 for the volts and the leaves and all that. But when you start getting into Tesla territory, they have their own type of charging port. And so there isn't really a uniformed agreement unless they've changed that. And maybe they did since I left NEMA. But so that's standardization is a big deal. Last thing I want to do is drive 300 miles on an electric vehicle and get to a place to charge it and the port doesn't fit. That would suck, right? But guess what? Technology is always expanding. How many of you, Jay, you probably learned this. You can charge this phone without plugging it in. You just sit it on top of a charger and the magnetic charges it through induction, and that charges it up. The magnetic field creates charge. They have now those also for electric vehicles. You could put it in the floor of your garage. Okay. And all you got to do is go to the definitions of which are in 625, and you'll look at it, and there is new definitions that explain what these things are. And let's see, this one would be wireless power transfer equipment, EPTE, wireless power transfer. Basically, it's the same thing. Here's the driveway, or here's your garage. You pull your car into it, and it sits over top of it, and it charges it without you doing anything. You don't have to plug anything in, you go. Now, if they put those up at charging centers and you just pull your car over it, then you don't have to worry about proprietary type of charging ports. But that would have to be built into the vehicle and whatever's been placed on the surface or in the concrete or in the ground to do that. That technology is already there. So they could do that and try to keep it universal. But you know what? Not every vehicle on the low end of electric vehicles is going to have that ability to do that. So it's too much stuff. It's too much, I don't think 2030. I think what's going to happen. All right, you ready? We'll go to Code Turd, but I'm going to give you my prediction now. You ready? I'm going to play Paulstradamus, unlike Nostradamus. I'm going to tell you by 2024, by 2025, we have changed the approach, and we won't be looking at trying to go all EV. They're going to have to embrace fossil fuel. But here's the $1 million question. Nobody answers for me, Jay, and I'm sorry. I'll go on. It's a lot of information tonight, and we're only touching the surface. I didn't really get deep into it. We got to do a code night when we talk electric vehicles. That'd be a cool night. But let me tell you what. Not on Thursday. If we can make synthetic oil, right? We can make other things. We can re-engineer and make things, and we make synthetic compounds. There is no way that we can't reverse engineer gasoline and make a gasoline that is not fossil fuel driven. Think about it. All it is a combustible that goes into the actual chamber and pistons and fired sparked by spark plugs that causes the actual piston to move to a little explosion, and that moves the camshaft, and that just. You're telling me that we can't create a synthetic gasoline and mass produce it and not have a dependency on fossil fuel? Dude, we're sending rockets into space, and they coming back, and they're landing on a little something the size of a blanket. You're telling me that we cannot reverse engineer and make a synthetic gasoline? Come on, man. Come on, man. We're better than that. So EV is not the answer. It's great. Some people, it's going to be great. Wind's great. Solar's great. Fossil fuels are great. Nuclear is great. But you can't tell me we can't create a synthetic gasoline. And maybe I'm just not a, what do you call it? Petro engineer. And that's impossible. Yeah, we said that about synthetic oil, and we got synthetic oil. So, all right, enough of that. Okay. Called moonshine. That's right. Moonshine. And this guy's up in the mountains like Popcorn Sutton used to be. He's dead now. But he can make that artificial gasoline. No problem. All right, let's go to the turd. Where's your turd hat? Get your turd hat. All right.
Oh, I don't.
He don't have his turd.
So my little one has the hat in the car. She hijacked it. So
see, she hijacked his turd hat. So code turd. Wait a minute,
oh my goodness, Ronbo, is this you?
Didn't I have code turd?
Oh, it's up there.
Don't I have no? Wait a minute. Don't I have music for code turds? Code turd of the week. There we go. Okay, I thought I had some music for code turd. Okay, there's not a lot of brain surgery into this one. So there is a good chance, Jay, that this is probably going to exceed the capacity of this box. I'm just saying that this is probably a 18 or 22.5 cubic inch box. I'm just saying.
I think if you put about 30 extension rings, which I think Ronbo is planning to do on this installation, you'll get it. But maybe 40. But hey, I don't know how many 14.2s at least 20. I mean, they're all cut short.
I am like old hog. This has got to be a photo.
It can't be real.
This is to be photo. This has to be a Photoshop. But can you only imagine? Because there is no way you'd be able to get that in the bottom of that box.
You would have to drill like a
That's not even big enough.
Inch and a half hole on the bottom. You'd almost have to. So I seen a guy on the other day on social media where he took a 2-gang nail-on box and a Sawzall, and he cut off the back of the box. I didn't see where he installed it and the purpose of it, but I could see them doing this where they just like Sawzall the bottom of it. And
okay,
hey,
so I have seen people cut the back of these boxes off before, using it for data communication, just coming in the back for data. Because you can do data, in some cases you can just do data with a plaster ring, right? You can just nail up a plaster ring and have coax come out of it. If there's no junk. So I have seen people would say, well, look, I just cut the back of a nail-on box and then I'll bring my communication into my Cat 5 or whatever into it. And it's all going to go right to a cover anyway. But I have seen people do that. Of course, I'm like, yeah. So the funny little skinny on this, there's absolutely physically no way this can be real, but I thought it would be a cute picture to show because I'm sure that this is the first box in Jay's basement over on the Instagram and the TikTok posts, that this will probably be one of his receptacles. I'm just saying, I watched his layout thing today and all that writing on the wall there, and I'm thinking that's where this box is going.
That's it, right? So 14.2 times a million plus 14.2 times a million. What's crazy is I think this is Photoshop for sure, because there's nothing that runs left or right. There's nothing that's horizontal past that stud, and no way all those conductors go up. But it is nice. It is a good box. It's probably a deep nail-on 20.5 cubic inch. See you, Schwartzy, man.
We got to spin the wheel for you, Schwartz. You want to have a chance to win, Jay? Are you doing a giveaway? Hold on. Didn't you donate, Schwartz?
Yeah,
you doing a giveaway?
We'll spin for Schwartzy. Seth, man, thank you for the donation too, brother. We really do, man. Appreciate you guys donating. Yeah. It's not the main thing of the show, but it does help us grow, man, and it really
Well,
makes us feel like we're doing a good job. So thank you guys so much, man.
It does say you are appreciated, and we do appreciate you. Please never think that we do not, because we definitely do appreciate. Okay.
So, but yeah, that's one of my installations. That's actually my install right there. What I'm doing is I'm just junction boxing every circuit in the freaking house, and actually all the lights are going to be on one switch, and that's the switch box right there. So those are all my switch legs, switch loops, whatever the heck you guys call them. They're all going to one box, and I'm just going to put a single pole switch. One switch controls the whole house. There you go.
I like what Godric said here. He says, "This is a customer, right? I only want you to use one box or I'm not paying." That's exactly right. You know, they got there's that customer that you got to go put the receptacles in the island, right? And they're like, I don't want any receptacles in my island.
Right, I'm like, right. I'm having a beautiful waterfall come down.
Yeah, my island's got cabinets all around it, and there's I don't want you to put I'm like, ma'am, I got to put a receptacle in here per code. And she's like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. It's my house. It's my house. I don't want it. No, ma'am. I'm putting the receptacle in, so.
I told you the other day when I was doing a basement walk where the customer was like, why is there so many receptacles? And I'm like, dude, it's per the code. And he goes, isn't every receptacle a fire hazard? I mean, all you're doing is adding one more fire hazard for any receptacle you add.
You were telling me that.
And I'm thinking like, no, I'm not. I'm adding X amount of money in my pockets, bruh.
Yeah, but you were telling me that, and I thought that's funny because it seems to me that the whole concept was not having enough receptacles to meet at least the minimum compliance. Right. Is a hazard because you'd have to use extension cords. You'd have all those little brown extension cords that you pick up at the checkout stand when you're going at Walmart, and they're going, "Oh, I need one of those. Oh, I need one of these," and that type of thing. That's all.
Yeah, right. Pretty much, you're breaking out all your Christmas extension cords during the summer and during any other part of the season besides Christmas. You're using them throughout your whole house. Yeah, I got a kick out of that guy, but I was like, no, unfortunately, that's not how it is. It's actually one more, reason why you don't have to use extension cords. And then he kind of rolled his eyes and went on. But and then you got the other customers that go, man, I'm so glad that you are adding so many receptacles because upstairs we don't have any. Maybe it's an older home.
That guy was upset at you because he knows that your bidding method is to charge per box. So he's like, he's adding up all these boxes and saying, that's where your price came from. Gotcha. All right, so the moral of the story here is, folks, don't get classy with Photoshop, but don't do this in the real world.
It just shows you how far our technology's gone when you can do that. Okay, right. So listen, and I know this is kind of difficult. I'm gonna give you the names of the people, the amount they donated. Again, the amount is whether it's $5 or like Aaron $49.99. That doesn't matter. That just tells you how many times that Paul's gonna choose to spin the wheel. Every first go around, anybody that hits a certain color, not only will get that reward, but they'll also go into the next round to hit another color that eventually will get you the giveaway right here.
So is that going to be after we spin these?
Nope, that's going to be during. So for example, let's say we pick a color, Paul. What color do you want to pick for the first round?
Blue.
So anybody that hits blue on the first round will not only get the LED keychain, but they'll move to the second round, which will pick another color for the rounds.
All right, that's totally confusing to me. So I'll spin and handle that.
I'll take care of that. You just pick the color and I'll take care of the rest.
All right, so that was blue for that. Okay. All right, so who's spinning first? We want to give some stuff away.
All right, let's give some stuff away. So the first donator was Aaron, obviously. So he had $49.99, and then he came back with $19.99. How many spins would you like to give Mr. Lore?
Well, we remember that the spin threshold is $4.99. We have to be conscious of that. So
two. So he gets two.
So it's two separate spins, two separate donations. Again,
two donations.
You could donate as little as $4.99, guys, but we appreciate all you do. But let's go on and do it. I just sent you a big box, Aaron, too.
LED light.
LED light.
Okay, spin again. Second spin.
All right. Can never get enough LED lights. I'm gonna have to replenish the stuff here. Stickers.
And stickers. All right, so that's
I do
Aaron,
have some new stickers that I'm designing. Aaron, you'll want to wait for those stickers or whatnot. Just let Jay know or let us know. Again, remember, whoever wins, make sure you send us to your full address so we can get that stuff out to you. All right. What we got next?
All right. Next, we have the Schwartzy, who
folks,
old man got to go to bed early.
We fully do understand, everybody, that your donations are to us and you appreciate it, and we do appreciate you. I'm very confident it's not about the giveaway stuff. We very much appreciate it and just want you to know that, definitely.
Can I be honest with you guys? Your donation stepped up my game. I went from Coors Light to Modelo with your guys' donations. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Right. Okay. Next spin. Who's next?
Schwartzy. Mr. Schwartz. Here we go. He's got the blue, so not only is he going to get a keychain light, he's going to get to the next round to be in the action for the big giveaway. So he's moving on to the next round. All right, next after that, we have Yane and Nakey.
All right. He said, land on white, throw in a 12-pack of Modelo.
Who says that? Oh, yeah, of course.
Blue.
Oh, so they get a keychain. Hold on, keychain. I gotta write this down. And Yane and Nakey move on to the next round for the big giveaway of the, 20-ounce Husky hammer with the crowbar and the large Milwaukee cut resistance. So, okay, after that, we are going to Mr. Rombo.
I feel like Pat Sajak. Something.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
God, everybody's in the blue. They're all going to be going for that hammers.
I swear, I remember one night we had about as many rolls and no one landed on blue. And all of a sudden now everybody's landing on blue. Yeah. All right. After Ronbo, we have...
I got it rigged. I got the wheel rigged.
Yeah, I was going to say. We have Mr. Gamer. Dropping the 50 bomb on us.
Dropping the bomb on us. All right, let's go here.
Still didn't beat Aaron, just by the way, but hey.
LED.
Gamer, you get the LED light. Do you have that near you? Yes. Show them what we call that the neuralizer. Like the Men in Black thing. Just look into this. You are not a plumber anymore.
That's right. All right, who else?
All right, next is Mr. Lightsy, Chris Lightsy, Mr. I love Ford, but on the stream he says he hates him now.
I was going to say.
You friggin' flip-flopper, you hood hopper.
Screwdriver.
I thought it was the black.
Oh, look at, do you hear that, Chris? He was rooting for you to get the loser. Y'all going to have a little personal talk. I'm just saying, y'all need to have a little powwow. Says LED and a 12-pack.
LED light and is that what you're sending me? Come on, baby, bring it. I'll drink with the best of them. I'm already 3 into it, bruh. All right. Let me get my sticker notes. You
got Chris as screwdriver, and
we have Franklin.
All right. Stickers.
Hey, that's cool, man. Franklin, you get some stickers, brother.
So this is about six different sticker packs. It's just different sticker things.
What is Carlos Gracias? My first time in this class. I have a good time. Next time I do some donations. I did not get that part. Bye. Hey, Carlos, again, we appreciate you coming, man. Hopefully it wasn't a class type. We do class on Wednesday, which was kind of yesterday, but we appreciate you being here. If this is a class setting to you and you enjoy it, then we enjoy it, man. Our whole goal is just to reach out to every viewer and share our knowledge.
Yep.
Paul's been doing it for, I know he's been doing electrical or educating for 32 years. He's probably been in the trade many years before that.
Don't date
So
me.
we have a lot of knowledge to give.
Don't date me.
And we appreciate it.
Don't be dating me, bro. I'm just saying.
I'm not asking you out on a date, bro. I'm not that drunk yet.
Okay,
all right,
good.
let's go to Carlos. Carlos,
Ready?
and I forget. I don't know what Carlos this was. I'll make sure I check.
Hey, look, Chris donated. He wants to get in another spin.
Oh, a character holding their head in their hand saying incredible. Okay.
Yeah, you can only see that probably over on the YouTube chat part, but he gets another spin
Chris,
real quick.
You get the two spins, but we're gonna wait for you till last. We saved the best for last, even though you're not the best, you're the worst, whatever. Carlos, let's spin that wheel for Carlos. Come on, baby.
All right, Carlos.
Screwdriver, nice.
To me, the screwdriver is the coolest thing. I use that almost daily. That little screwdriver. Where is it? Hold on, I'll show you.
So it's like an 8-in-1 screwdriver.
Yeah,
that guy right
it's
there.
metal. It's not plastic. It's pretty neat.
It's nice because and he'll contest to this. O said that he uses that to change out the batteries in his little kids' toys. And it's so true because that screwdriver comes with like a PH1 and I think a PH2, so Phillips 1, Phillips 2, which is really nice.
So there you go. So that's the coolest of the stuff. Until, of course, the bottle opener things come. The things.
All right.
So what do we got?
Now we're rolling to Seth, Mr. Seth here in Colorado. Starting to like Seth, man. He knows the same people I know. I think we're going to build something here. So, Seth, you're on to something, brother. Let's see what you got. And stickers, man. Heck yeah.
Sticker pack.
So I'll tell you what, starting 2022, don't quote me, don't hold me to it, but probably January, February, I'll order a bunch of the wired up stickers. Obviously, we like you guys to go support it over there on Streamlabs, but again, we will get some wired up ones and we'll throw them in the mix for the stickers starting the new year off. So.
Yep.
Oh, crap. Ronbo, you're back again, Ronbo. Appreciate you, brother.
And I'm working on some new designs for some stickers. So if y'all have ideas on designs that you're interested in, dude, this is the time to do it. Because usually during the winter here, in December and January, is when I actually start designing and looking at different sticker designs. Like, I had the Code Strong and the Wizard and the Skull Mafia. Still one of my favorites is the Skull Mafia.
Oh, dude, hands down, the best.
The Electrical Brotherhood, that's probably my best favorite. But anyway, I'm right now trying to design new stickers for 2022. There you go. So if you got some ideas, let me know. Bounce some through me. Come on,
talk to us, man.
You can be the inspiration for a new sticker. All right, what's next?
All you got to do is email us at host@electricianlive.com. Paul put it in there earlier. The restream put it in there for you guys. Let us know, man. Even topics. I know we've kind of talked about topics now that we're kind of open it up on Electrify. We're not only code only now. We'll get into it sometimes. We're going to save those for other days, right? We have Wednesday exam prep. Maybe on the weekend we'll do some. If you really
can't get enough of code, and you're donating, consider going over and becoming part of the monthly membership.
Yeah.
And you can get access to all the videos, all the code stuff, any of the new stuff I do there, rebroadcasts of Wednesday nights that you don't get to see live. And the residential things that we're working on. There's so much more stuff that we got slated for 2022, but you'll get access to it. So that's another way to contribute, and you feel like you're getting something. Because I definitely, those that give, I want to feel like you're getting something. So definitely. So
we should do an iron worker sticker. Listen, brother, I know you're an iron worker. You've been it for about 3 months. I know it's the holy grail for you right now. But listen, man, you're just an iron worker, bro. I mean, come on. It's kind of in the rank of all things. You're down there. I mean, I'm just saying, how hard is it to pick up a 1,000,000-pound piece of freaking iron, bro? Okay, you're not even picking up. It's a crane that's picking it up.
Dude, it's the fact it's the fact that they're doing it at 80 feet in the air, bro.
Okay. I'm sorry. My bad.
That's different. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so
Chris Lightsey. We will consider that.
All right. What's next? Who's the next one?
All right.
Who's the next one?
So So now we're speaking of iron workers. Now we're back on Lightsy again. So he donated that extra $5. Let's spin the wheel for that guy, man. He deserves this. He works hard. He's an iron worker. Stickers.
Now I have a hard time with him coming up with stickers that aren't so electrically related. He's not an electrician, but I work something out.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I gave him one of the Code Mafia ones, and he has it on the back of his car, so he's rocking it, man.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
He's a trooper, dude. I know he's been doing comments all night, and we haven't hit all of them, Chris, but we do appreciate you being a part of the show, man. And,
absolutely.
And doing that.
Who's next?
Rombo jumped in another 5, so Rombo, you get the last spin, and then we'll roll on to round 2.
Round 2.
On the big giveaways.
LED
light. The LED light. What was his last one? Let me see here. Where's
Rombo
had the keychain, so okay, they're 2 different ones. Okay. All right, Paul.
You know what's interesting? What's interesting when we go camping, we take these little lights, the keychain lights, and because the dog has to go out to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And this works great. These are brighter than you would think. Okay, so.
What do you say? I had to pick up a 900-pound piece of steel. What are you, the strongest man on earth?
900 pounds? Come on, man.
900 pounds.
People that bench that. Come on. All right.
Hey. All right, so now we're going into round 2. Pick a color, Paul, besides blue.
Okay, so this is round 2. So what happens now? Explain to me. What happens in round 2?
So round 2, we're going to pick a color. There's 3 people, and whoever lands on that color, if they get it the first time.
What if they all land on it? You don't have 3 of those hammers to give away.
No. But we'll do process of elimination. So pick a color.
He's confusing me, folks. Okay, I'm gonna pick. The orange or sticker color.
Stickers. So orange. Okay. So first one is gonna be Schwartzy. So go ahead and spin the wheel for Schwartz. Schwartz.
Sorry, Schwartz.
To be honest with you, you are out. If you hit the black, you are totally out. You had last week's giveaway, so we appreciate you. We're moving on to Yane and Nike. Go ahead and spin that wheel. So now Schwartz is out. This is the part. I got to make the rules when it comes to my giveaways, okay?
I got to get rid of that black.
You are out, brother.
I gotta get rid of that. I gotta get rid of that black.
Come back.
None of our listeners are losers. All right, next. All right, who's next?
This is for Yane and Nike. Go ahead and spin that bad boy.
I'm still confused. Damn. There you go.
So Yane and all right, go ahead and spin it for Rombo. And I know Rombo donated twice, but he only hit the blue once. And he got red, so that doesn't count. This was only for the giveaway. Rombo, sorry you came up short on that. Yane and Nike, you hit the orange on the second round. So this right here is coming your way.
All right.
I'll probably get it to you in year 2023, but you will get it.
No, you'll get it. We got to do more big. I think we're gonna have a talk about giveaways. This is good stuff. I like the
good
hammers.
Stuff, man. This is fun.
So, all right. So there we go. So let's get it back to us.
Paul's still confused from yesterday. No, don't.
Yeah, still have that brain fog. There's no doubt. I don't deny it. All right, guys. Hey, hopefully you got a little bit of something. You've got our opinion. Just to kind of give you a summary on tonight's show. EV vehicles, EV infrastructure is just not there. Maybe it will be. I don't see it by 2023. I certainly don't see it within the next 5 years like the manufacturers say. My belief is go hybrid if you want to do that. We're not ready for the infrastructure. Our electrical grid can't handle it. It's just not going to be able to handle the consumption. Do a Google in your area and find out how many charging stations are actually around you that are like, even if they're level 2, which is what you might get at a commercial building, I'm still not going to sit there for 6, 7, 8 hours. So maybe if you're going to go shopping all day, but the days of going to the shopping mall and walking the mall for 6, 7, 8 hours with your kids is not there anymore.
Those are over, bro. Amazon's taking that over.
Yep. So at the end of the day, we're going to see. But hopefully there's something in that infrastructure package that has to do with massive EV infrastructure expansion, and I just don't think it is. So, folks, is what it is. Till next time, folks, we appreciate you. Peace out. We'll see you next week. You've been listening to Electrify with your hosts Paul Abernathy and Jay, the Basement King Grunberg.